The Village of Hainesville regular board meeting will now come to order at 7:07 p.m. Tuesday, May 24th, 2011. If everyone would please rise and I'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Do you have your cell phone?
Mine, no, I don't have it with me.
Because
My
it's
office.
your microphone.
Mine's turned off.
I turned mine
Well,
on.
I'm a big mouth. You want me to leave mine on?
No, let's see what happens. I don't know what the problem is.
We'll experiment.
All right, roll call.
Mayor Soto,
Present.
trustees Sternowski,
Here.
Reese,
Here.
Duberstein, Barrett,
Here.
Daly,
Here.
and Washington is absent.
Okay, we are in quorum. Gary Walkington, we're going to forgive because he's watching his grandson who's made it to finals in baseball, and I believe he's pitching, Kathy, is that what he said? So he's pitching tonight, so we excuse Gary. He did pass some thoughts to me to share with everyone on some of the discussion material. Can I have a motion for tonight's agenda approval?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Sternowski,
Aye.
Reese,
Aye.
Duberstein, Barrett,
Aye.
and Daly.
Aye.
Okay, at this time, we'll take public comments. Anybody that would like to address the board, if you please step forward to the mic, state your name and address for the record.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Florence Stamps, DAMPTZ at 54 List Drive. And I just want to give a thank you very much for the people that you hired to work on our backyards on List. It is beautiful. They were very professional. They were just great guys. They answered any questions we had. I think the only hard time we gave them a hard time was working with the trees. Us the ladies, we had a real hard time. You want it here, you want it there, So we had a little bit of a problem with that. But anyway, we are very, very, very thankful for your consideration and taking care of it. So we have our backyards back. Thanks.
Well, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to be here to tell us that, because it's nice to hear that. And I agree with you. I think the contractor did a phenomenal job. We were pleased, and our engineer was quite pleased.
It's great.
David Criz, 567 North Trent Court. And this is more of a question, really. Earlier this month, 2 mailings went out on the same day, postmarked in separate envelopes, single sheets each, and I wondered why those weren't mailed together.
Oh, you're talking about
One was a newsletter and one was a-
newsletter, and the other one was a letter regarding the revenue.
It seemed like it was the
funds.
same day. I mean, it was postmarked the same day, so.
It was a letter that the staff was not expecting from me.
Okay.
It's a joint effort that was done by the mayor's caucus to fight to keep our distributed funds. So when I contacted the staff, they were able to get the letter inserted with the newsletter utility bill that goes to the single-family homes.
Okay.
But the town homes get the newsletter separately because you don't get individual utility bills.
Gotcha.
So those had already been produced. So all the townhomes and townhomes only got 2 letters.
Gotcha.
George Duberstein, 82 Toll Drive. Just a question. Do we have in the village or in the county any ordinance dealing with unleashed animals roaming around?
Yes. Yeah. There's a village ordinance. They cannot be roaming around unleashed.
And is there any penalty for said unleashed animals?
Yes, they could be, depending on the circumstance, they could be warned, they could be cited. If there's an occurrence, in fact, there was a police report last week, there was an incident where dogs attacked another dog that were loose. So that was quite a serious event. But if you see an animal running loose, you should call the police department.
Because I was twice got attacked by one. I mean, it didn't do any damage, but
total.
Doesn't matter, but
Yeah.
you have the right to call the police, yeah, it's against the village ordinance to have the animals running loose, and unfortunately, we have so many wonderful animals in the neighborhood that it can cause serious problems. We had a recent dog attack that was rather serious, so, yeah.
Okay.
And unfortunately, the first warm weather, we always get those people who seem to forget, or they don't know, or, and it's a retraining experience. I don't know if this is a new resident.
Sometimes on the pathway around Cranberry Lake and also on that big field on Cranberry, soccer field by Cranberry, Oblate Lane area.
Don't, yeah. I can mention it to the police force, but the best thing is, if you want them caught, is to call the police as soon as you see them, to say the area or the address.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board at this time? Okay, we will move on to the omnibus vote agenda. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Darrenowski.
Aye.
Reese.
Aye.
Duberstein. Aye. Barrett.
Aye.
And Daley.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, this is our first full board meeting since we have had the swearing-in ceremony. So I want to say again, welcome to Wally. And also, welcome back, Kevin. And Gary, who's not present tonight, out there on TV land, welcome back, Gary. Hope your grandson pitches a winning game. Also, just want to say congratulations. This past weekend was graduation at the Round Lake High School and also Grays Lake Central. My eldest son, Jimmy, also graduated, so there was quite a lot of activities going on this past week in the schools with athletic awards, academic awards, and just want to say congratulations to all the graduates. And I had kind of a regular schedule this past week, so I apologize. I have tried to get back to everybody promptly, but I should be back on my regular schedule now that those festivities are over. Also have, as mentioned at comment time and at the last board meeting, I and the other mayors and legislators have been spending a lot of time fighting, to get the word down to Springfield that, what the governor proposed is just wrong. It violates the Illinois state constitution, and they should not be taking the distributive funds that were agreed upon and promised to municipalities. This is a serious effort, and I'm hopeful that we will win on this one. The vote should all be taken by the end of this week, so we will know. I want everybody to keep that in mind later on with our discussions, that we need to be extra conservative till we know where the fallout is on some of these issues, because even if this is put to bed for now, I get the feeling, I feel the undercurrent, I think the state will come back in the future and try to take this money again. I don't think they'll try to take it all the next time, but I think they're going to try to come back and take a portion of it. So we really need to be alert and watch for that. And then, Jerry, I don't know if you want to add any more under the standing committee announcements about what you're finding out about the revenue assessments. Yes, because there's some other concerns we have about a loss of revenue coming in. Also, just want to ask all the residents to be patient. Do feel free to contact us, but it has been an extremely wet spring. And so not only the village, but also many contractors are behind in their spring cleanup and landscaping work. So Public Works is very busy trying to get caught up on projects we thought we'd have done by now. Also, we were flooded with calls the end of last week and yesterday and today here at the Village Hall. There's a lot of properties you're noticing now that are not mowed. They have a lot of dandelions. We have new foreclosure properties, unfortunately, popping up. Some are just people not maintaining their property. And it's just become noticeable because the rain has stopped. And again, I mentioned about contractors being behind. I've noticed some of the properties, what we typically do is if it's a house in foreclosure and it's been taken over by the bank or the mortgage company, we will call them and tell them they need to get the property maintained. And if they don't, we're gonna do it and we're gonna lien the property. And then we don't get our monies back till that property finally sells. So what we're encountering with some of the banks and mortgage companies, their landscaping contractors are behind in getting around to these properties because of the rains. So I did notice a few properties have been mowed since we started making calls. There are some new ones that just came on the grid, so we're going to be contacting, but they will get mowed. But don't hesitate to call, give us the address, we'll check it out and make sure we've made contact on that property or make sure it's on our list.
And some of the ones that are listed for sale, but the owner isn't there anymore, they're vacant.
And a lot of times those are foreclosures that are for sale for the bank, so it's the same situation.
This isn't, it's just they have a renter and the renter left.
Okay, so then in that case, we'll call the
I
realtor.
think it's in.
And you can feel free to call the realtor as well, because the more that call, the better, quite frankly. I was very proud this weekend. I had a resident come up to me and she said that she saw a realtor sign. She called the number several times, telling me you need to get out here and mow the grass. We called as well, but I applauded her for making the effort to write down the number and call. So it did get handled. With that, I'll move on to standing committee announcements. Anything of note?
For the Finance Committee.
Microphone?
It's old.
It's old.
We don't want to. Let's see, did I forget what I was, no. You all should have received an email regarding the quadrennial reassessment. It is going on now. I stopped by the Avon Township office and I contacted the Lake County office. The short of it is that Avon Township through Lake County is expecting 8 to 11% drop in assessed value of the homes in all of Avon Township. And as I said in the email, I believe, I haven't memorized the figures, it's somewhere between $45,000 and $67,000 loss in revenue, potential loss in revenue to the village. Now, that could be ameliorated, but we'll never know until the very end if the state ups the,
Multiplier?
well, thank you, the multiplier. What birthday is it? Or, you know, when we get around to redoing the budget, we could look at our levy, but if we do nothing, we will stand to lose $45,000 to $65,000. And obviously, that's a chunk of money out of our village budget. The sad thing, and it's explained somewhat on one of the brochures I gave you for the residents, is that just because the assessed valuation of the property goes down doesn't mean taxes are going to go down. The multiplier could affect that. The various municipalities or taxing bodies could increase their request, make it, some of them are capped, some of them are not. It's going to be an interesting time next budget year, the next tax year.
Okay. Any other announcements from the standing committees?
Yes.
Microphone.
Just to remind everybody of the cleanup on June 4th, Saturday, from 9 to 12. If you've kept your newsletter, it lists the places where we would like you to meet. That's Tall Oak and Hainesville Road, the gazebo at Cranberry North, or over by the State Farm building along 120. If you have any questions or you haven't kept your newsletter, you can call the village.
It should also be on the
It's
website.
on,
Yeah.
right, I'm sure it's on the website,
website.
but for those that aren't doing any of the above. Be sure and wear appropriate gear. We will supply latex gloves, but you might need boots or appropriate shoes. Flip-flops won't cut it if you're going to be walking around where there's weeds and rubbish and whatever. And we could use everybody's help. I'm hoping to have some of the National Honor Society students, but I haven't heard back from the sponsors yet.